Hey! Wow, he's committed to it.
Hello.
Hello there.
It is wonderful to see you. As if we haven't been talking this whole time while we've been
This
setting
is
up.
definitely our first intro of this recording. We have not done it 6 times
Oh, right.
due to various technical
Recording.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, we're not live.
Bless. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, you thought this was live?
Thank-
Well, you thought we were live all the time?
oh yeah, thank God we're not.
All right.
So,
right.
in case you're wondering why we weren't live, if you're watching this on the VOD and you're like, hey, I tuned in and I wanted to see it. RTTV took a break on the 3rd and the 4th to encourage people to go vote and to also participate in watching the election. So sorry if you're bummed that you couldn't watch us live, but we wanted to kind of make a statement there about how important it was to go vote and everything that's going on.
And also,
And we don't know the results yet, so depending on when you're watching this, so who knows?
Yeah, we are technically recording this on the day, morning-ish after Election Day. So we don't know the results. We don't know, how it's going to end up. We're all exhausted because so
Was there an
let's
election?
just move forward. Yeah, there was this little thing that happened. It's been going on for a while now.
Oh.
We elect our leaders.
Who you?
Liam did just crawl out of a hole. Didn't you see his intro?
That's
Like,
true.
Yeah, I
Sure.
did. Actually, it was my
You just woke up.
my little darkness hole that I sleep in.
He has been literally
kinda
under
weird.
a rock for all of 2020, which
Yeah,
is probably
for
the best
sure.
place you could have been.
Absolutely.
All right.
Exactly.
Quick, who you?
Welcome to the Death Battle Cast.
Vindicated!
Welcome to the Death Battle Cast. We are the casting crew of Death Battle. I'm Ben, the voice of Wiz. I'm joined by Liam, the
That's
writer
me.
for the episode that
I
just
wrote
aired.
Tippity type.
I'm Chad. I
He's
play
weird.
Boomstick and cause chaos on this show.
And we are joined by somebody who is very much judging us right now. Brandon.
If I am, it's not negatively. This is of course.
Brandon Yates, a musician we've
Hi,
been
guys.
working with for 5+ years at this point, which is
Yeah, it's been over 5 years.
fantastic.
You may know him from many different death battle tracks, from Shredding Silver all the way to... I pulled up the wiki to make sure I got them right. All the way to Way Past Flash.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's some before and after that at this point, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit.
That's where the wiki is up to date.
Yeah.
on.
For some
So-
reason, the wiki doesn't have like Alive and EXO and all the really old stuff. I mean, I guess I don't want them to really remember some of that old stuff, so that's fair.
Dude, Alive's amazing. Alive is
Yeah,
like
Alive
one of
is
my
awesome.
favorite tracks that you've ever done.
It was like the first
EXO's-
one, too.
I think EXO's good too, but like there's some that were like in that season, especially like the rushed ones that I don't know.
I mean, that's basically Death Battle, like par for the course for us. Like, we look back on season 2 and season 1, we're like, we can ignore that one. We didn't work on that, right?
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I think every creator has that feeling though with older content that they've made. We were talking before about like putting together demo reels and things like that for actors, and it can be rough looking back on some old content and being like, I did that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
there are
no,
many
yeah.
things you're just like, nope, not that one, and then you're just like, hope the internet forgets that.
Yeah, I think Brandon
What he
today would
forgets,
kick
nothing.
Brandon 5 years ago's ass. He'd be like, "Why are you doing things that way? Stop! Quit trying to cut corners. It's obvious."
I too want to beat the shit out of my younger self, just to prove that I can.
Yeah,
it would
me
be
too, actually. I
disappointing.
wanna beat
It would be
the shit out
disappointing
of
if I
younger
lost to my past self. I would be like, this sucks. This was a net loss.
That just determines that you peaked previously.
Yeah, not in terms of creative potential, in terms of physical aptitude. Like, I want to actually, after this year, I probably couldn't because I've been in bed all year.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm pretty sure I've
my
put on like 15
arms
pounds.
are tiny.
I'm convinced you haven't left that room because that's the only place I see you.
You're not wrong, dude. You're not wrong.
Oh my god!
Just go to
All
the
right.
door when the pizza shows up.
Yeah, we'll be
Well,
talking more music here in a second.
Yeah, we do have plenty to talk about. We have, as I kind of mentioned, Sabrewulf versus John Talbain just came out. A matchup that we have wanted to do for a very long time. And Liam and Brandon kicked so much ass putting that stuff together for the episode. So we will be talking about that. And we will also be getting into some of the music behind the scenes for Death Battle with Brandon. A topic which we've sort of talked about, but we've never actually had Brandon on to really get into the weeds of how it all goes down. So we're definitely going to get into the nitty gritty of that as we go.
It's
through
magic. It's magic
today's-
and fairy dust.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, this
Spoilers.
guy is a beast. He makes this stuff like we were just talking before the show. Like we don't know how you're able to pull off what you do so quickly, Brandon. It does seem like magic to a lot of us, frankly, to be honest. But it's so freaking awesome.
I mean, well, we can get into it more later, but I have some tricks that help me be like very fast.
That'll be cool. We can get behind the scenes of Brandon's special tricks.
The real question is,
Anyway.
can you make a track in the time that we do this podcast? No, I'm just kidding.
Not during, but yeah, like if you want to time me sometime. I streamed making a song and I did it in like an hour and a half.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
I mean, it wasn't my best work ever, you know. I was just like, it was just a test. It was just like,
But still,
how long will it take me to just make a simple track and on stream? And it
That's
took me
cool.
about an hour and a half.
That's really cool.
That's amazing.
Man, that'd be a pretty dope kind of like regular thing, like tuning in. What's Brandon gonna make today in less than an hour? We'll see. Man, that's lots.
What's your Twitch? Feel free to shamelessly promote yourself.
Oh, I
at this
don't. I
moment.
stream on YouTube. My YouTube is just my name, Brandon Yates.
Nailed it.
easy enough.
Easy to find. All right. What's up
All right.
first, Ben?
Well, let's go ahead and get into the Q&A for Sabrewulf versus John Talbain. Liam, as the writer, I figure you've got all the answers.
You
Hopefully.
better.
Though I think I have a couple as well. So the first question that we got was actually from a comment that I saw on the YouTube video that got upvoted a lot. You said John lives a life of compassion, but then at the beginning when Sabrewulf
I
asked
saw
for
that one
forgiveness,
too.
he said he had none to give. Isn't that inconsistent?
Well, a life of compassion in regards to whom? Like, I think when John witnesses, in my interpretation, because I wrote this, right? Like, I made that, the scenario of the death battle fight up. By the way, another thing we've said this before, but the death battle fight isn't a one-to-one reflection of the research. We have to take a couple of liberties in terms of setting up a fight. Like, a lot of these characters that fight wouldn't normally fight
Would
each other.
never fight each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
So we kind of need to take liberties with that. The way that I interpreted it as I wrote it was that when John sees like just the ocean of dead bodies, he sees someone that failed, unlike himself. He is another werewolf that failed at controlling himself and is nothing more than a mindless beast, and he's putting him down. I can't forgive you for what you've done because you're not someone that can receive that forgiveness. You're not capable of it anymore. You're not capable of atoning. So I need to eliminate you. And eventually their respective bloodlust gets so intense that like John at the end, because of the influence of the blood moon, actually enjoys killing Sabrewulf at the end.
Yeah, I bet you didn't expect a response that deep for one line, did ya?
Also, spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, if you haven't watched the episode,
In case
you
you're
should.
watching
Oh,
this
right.
before you watch the death battle.
Yeah, for some reason. We tend to should be saying that at the beginning of the show, but you know this song and dance by now.
I thought the question.
Yep. No, you're good.
I'm curious what the demographic is for that. Like, who? I got to watch the death battle cast. The death battle itself can wait.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's done
maybe
that.
somebody-
Someone should
one
comment. If
person.
you watch
That's
this
epic.
before the actual death battle, if you consistently do that, please comment because I want
You're
to know.
awesome.
I want to know. Yeah, I want to know. Like, why? Yeah, I want to know, and I want to know why.
Yeah,
I'm subscribed to the Death Battle channel, not for Death Battle, for Death Battle
For
cast.
Yeah.
I like to see the same interior of Liam's room months after months unchanged. These beige, all-consuming walls.
I'm here
need
for
to
the
put
journey
something
that
up
is
on that
Chad's
wall.
I
hair.
love them.
Like,
Yeah,
Chad's hair
that's
has
pretty good.
evolved over this year. So
It has, man. It's been getting quite majestic. We'll see where it ends, but this is where I'm at. I was going to the grocery store to pick something up, and I'm walking by, and then there's this old dude, and he's just kind of like sitting on this little stoop, and he just goes, "Nice hair," and I was just like, "Thanks, dude." Pandemic. And then I walked inside.
Indeed, there is.
All right, second question. This one is a lot more, I think, has a lot more going on than that one. How do you
Like
rationalize
Stacy's mom.
How do you rationalize the messy killer instinct timeline when researching? you included info for Sabrewulf from both timelines, and usually you tend to prioritize one. Killer Instinct, if you don't know, is when the 2013 game came out, it sort of rebooted the whole thing. But even before then, Killer Instinct's timeline was really kind of janky. It has comics that don't necessarily 100% line up with the game. Also, Killer Instinct 1 and 2 takes place like hundreds of years, thousands of years in the past. So like how everything lines up is all messy. Like some characters in 2 that have the same name as the characters in 1 aren't actually the same characters. It's weird. Killer Instinct is very confusing. But Liam, do you want to kind of go into how we looked?
Basically, we composited them. We looked at the elements of Sabrewulf that were similar in both, which for Sabrewulf specifically was mostly everything. Like there was a lot that overlapped. He's not a character that was super changed or benefited from any like really big insane feats that happen in Killer Instinct. Like Gargos has a really powerful feat in the new Killer Instinct timeline, but Sabrewulf doesn't scale to him in this new timeline. I don't know if he did in the original one either, but basically we it was beneficial for us because we were able to composite them. Sabrewulf, the new timeline, not super different ability wise than in the old timeline. So yeah, so we just take the elements that are similar that don't totally contradict each other.
Yeah. Sabrewulf fortunately lines up with the idea that we generally go with like we do prioritize one version and then anything else can sort of be applied if we can argue that it is the same character in a different circumstance. Yeah. And Sabrewulf absolutely kind of falls into that setup. There are definitely other characters in Killer Instinct that are more complicated than that, but Sabrewulf fortunately works out for us.
It's also super helpful when you're dealing with fighting game lore, which it exists, but there's not a ton of it. So
it exists. There is a surprisingly large amount of it.
There's so much of it
that
relative
like applied
relative to what kind of genre it is.
But it's weird. It's
fighting. Yeah, no, it's
trying to think how to describe it. It's not like we're not like reading through issues, right? You get it through like
it's not Elder Scrolls
cutscenes
books.
And like like
it's
victory scenes if they're canon for that character in the tournament. It's so
like this developer said one time that Ryu and Sagat fought and Sagat won or something like that. It's like this you have like researching for fighting games is super weird because you have to like just like detective all of this shit and put it together.
There are a bunch of quotes and like end scenes of win screens, lost screens, non-canon like story endings, but they all still connect in some way. And it's less like that there's not a lot of lore to work with, and more so that there's a ton of it. It's just not connected in an easily digestible format.
And games that are like semi-sequels of one another, like Street Fighter Alpha and Street Fighter Alpha 2 and Street Fighter Alpha 3. I forget what the rule is for like the canon of those three games.
Oh, the Street Fighter timeline between 2 and like because 4 is
after
it's
2.
Been so long.
Well, specifically the ones that are
after
like
2.
redo.
Yeah, it goes 1.
Third Strike 3
Alpha,
is way in the future.
2,
It's
4,
further in the future.
5, 3.
3.
And Third Strike is the last. It takes place after second.
Right.
After. And some of those games are like technically the same game, but like redone.
Yeah.
So it's like Alpha 3 and 2, I believe, are like technically the same story, but it's like now it's a different version. So it's like, so which one is
which one's
supposed
the
to
real
go
one?
with? Like, how do they relate to each other? It's a very confusing mess.
What was that? Was it Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue that just like broke Nick's brain? I don't remember which.
Blaze Blue.
Yeah, it was Blaze.
Which is funny because Guilty Gear is just as crazy. Like Guilty Gear is nuts. Guilty
Blaze
Gear has
Blue
like
is specifically confusing because of the anime. They had like a very short little miniseries where they tried to cram as much of the lore as possible into like less than 8 episodes or something like that, and it was very difficult to follow.
you know you're fucked when you start listening to like audio CDs and following along with
like the radio plays.
The radio plays,
yeah.
How into the series do you have to be to listen to audio CDs for? Like, I mean, is that just for researchers at that point, or I guess?
Yeah, I know, right?
No, like it's a popular thing in Japan.
Yeah,
I will say though, but speaking of CDs, Killer Cuts slapped. If you did. I don't know if everybody remembers Killer Cuts. I probably have it somewhere in this house. It was a CD that
Absolutely.
came with. You had it. I don't even think. Did it come with Killer Instinct, or did you have to like? It might have been a magazine thing. Man, I'm gonna have to look that back up. But it was a Killer Instinct CD, and it had Spinal on the front.
Oh,
Yes. The
Killer
Instinct
Cuts.
soundtrack. It's real good.
I'm
Real
old.
good. Very 90s.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Could John have been affected by Sabrewulf's ability to pass his lycanthropy on?
Are you talking about making him a double werewolf?
already
that's
a
the thing.
werewolf.
He's already a werewolf. Now,
Yeah, you can be born a
Technically,
werewolf, but to be
yeah.
a double werewolf, you gotta catch that. Someone's gotta give that to you.
technically, there might be an argument that like John is a different kind of werewolf, like from a
Yeah.
different dimension. So like maybe his version of lycanthropy, like at a chemical level, is different, and so something might happen.
What's interesting
when
about-
Sabrewulf's lycanthropy is mixed in with that, and maybe he could become a double werewolf.
What's
It
interesting
doesn't
about
really matter though. Go ahead.
What's
Liam.
What's interesting about John is that with Darkstalkers, like the way it works in Darkstalkers is that John is his mother was human and his father was a full werewolf, was a big wolf dude. So that's how he transforms back and forth. It's not a curse like it is in Killer Instinct, where you're human that transforms into a big wolf guy at night. It's his dual identity, but still like. It wouldn't really work, and it wouldn't really like affect the fight either, because it only when it affected Jago, it only started to like affect Jago after their fight had ended.
It's not
and-
an instant transfer. It takes time
Yeah.
to manifest.
Yeah.
So like maybe after John howls to the moon at the end, like weird fur patches start bursting out. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then he becomes a double werewolf.
He's a
becomes
double
like a
werewolf.
big like ball of fur.
He's a werewolf who, under the full moon, becomes a werewolf.
Nice.
Sure. I don't know
makes
how
sense.
that would work exactly, but like maybe I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's a possibility that it would have some weird effect, but it wouldn't really matter in the fight. Next question: would John have won if there wasn't a blood moon? This is sort of semantics, honestly. Like we just kind of added the blood moon for
Cool.
Dramatic
the-
effect.
So I can
Dramatic
make a
effect
cool
in fight.
song.
Thematic.
So I
Exactly.
can make a cool song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
It's
It was
also
a thematic
yeah.
choice. You know.
it's also we wanted to sort of show off the because a very important part of the fight to me was the differences between how the werewolf side of them is treated. Probably my favorite theme of this fight is the fact that like both of them have this curse. I mean, technically it's differently applied, but both of them have the curse of a bestial personality. And whereas Sabrewulf focused it on just trying to remove it, just get rid of this thing, you know, that a very extreme approach to it. John accepted it and strove to control it. And I definitely wanted to have some element of that difference in the fight. And so having a blood moon going in and out kind of helps
Yeah.
showcase that.
It challenges
really all.
John's control over himself, which is the like you said, the main theme of the fight.
Yes. And then getting into some of the calcs, probably the biggest calc and strangest calc of the episode.
Best calc.
What does Anacharis sinking Egypt have to do with John at all?
Yes, as I was looking over rough cuts of this episode, I too was struck by like, there's this whole section on ancient Egypt. Like if you deleted my information of this fight from my brain, I'd be like, this is weird. But what it has to do with is that John and Anacharis are in the same tier of power as of Darkstalkers. They're both B+ class, which most of the cast is, aside from like the really powerful ones like Dimitri or Morgan or Pyron.
Yeah.
And John derives his power. John derives a lot of his abilities from Ki, which is the same energy source that Anacharis uses to sink Egypt. It's basically just how much power do they both have in a kind of general sense. I don't know if John would be able to push on ancient Egypt hard enough to sink it, but it's a general. We're getting an idea of their relative power, and it's so much more massive than Sabrewulf's, that we can confidently say that even accounting for a large margin of error, or even he could do a small fraction of that power, he'd still be way, way, way stronger than Sabrewulf.
Theoretically, his fire dragon could
Yeah.
reach this sort of power level. Maybe it is obviously sort of a generalized look at
Yes.
what the power level of Key really means to them, but because they are in the same tier level, class level, it should be able to apply to him to at least a general degree.
Yeah.
The Egypt calc was one thing that came up in our research sync. I believe it was Lousy who did all the work for that, and it was crazy how much he put into that, like figuring out how many buildings there would be, what the composition of the buildings would most likely be, factoring the pyramids, the scale of Egypt's landmass and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's so much to it. It's crazy.
He even did the
so like
people
part of it was, and the people. Part of it was like, this is a really good a representation of how much more powerful a B+ Darkstalker is compared to something from specifically Sabrewulf. But it was also, on another hand, I was kind of like, man, Lousy put so much work into this calc. And like, technically, we don't really need it for our argument because there are other elements to the argument that like already kind of lock it down. But like, it's such a good calculation and such an impressive piece. Like, I just kind of want to include it anyway. So we just did.
It's super fun and weird.
Yeah. I love it when we can get a Death Battle episode that looks at something strange like that, like unexpected.
How often do you have an excuse to calculate the weight of Egypt? Like,
right?
Exactly.
I'm getting flashbacks of stupid weight of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
I still regret I don't have that number. I'm still so mad. I got so disheartened. I just deleted it, and then I was like, now to this day, I'd be like, I can tell you.
Can't you just do like population times like the average weight of a human and just multiply?
No, so I did it based on male and female, adult and children, and then I also did that based on population by region in those categories. For
that's a lot. That's a lot of.
It was a lot.
There.
It was a lot, Liam.
And then I jumped in and said, "Oh, by the way, there's also dinosaurs."
I'm back there. Like I'm in my first house in my office, sitting in my chair on a fucking Skype call with Ben for Gogi versus Superman. I still remember this because he was working on something else, and I'm going through all that shit. Stupid. Oh god. Oh.
Do you like food? Of course you like food. You have to like food because you need food to survive. It's very, very important. So, how do you make it better? Well, HelloFresh. That's how. You get all the ingredients you need to make wonderful meals shipped right to your door, so no more hassle. This is the easier way to do things. Plus, guess what? Nutritious, delicious, and you got a bunch of variety in these bad boys. Every week they got 20 chef-crafted meals, so you're not just eating the same thing over and over. You're just always experiencing new meals, learning how to cook with new ingredients, and having a good time. Plus, two big notes on HelloFresh specifically. They're the first carbon-neutral meal company, and by skipping the grocery store and skipping that whole system, on top of that, you lose about like 25% of your food waste, which is just a bonus on top of it. The most important thing to me, though, is that they're committed to giving back, right? So they've given away 3.5 million meals this year in a year where clearly a lot of people could probably use an extra meal. So I really appreciate a company that's willing to give back to the community, and that makes me more willing to give to them, especially when they send pasta. So let's talk about this. If you want some of this HelloFresh for yourself, and you should, go to hellofresh.com/cast90 and use code CAST90 to get $90 off, including free shipping on your first order. That's hellofresh.com/cast90. That's a killer deal. Great company and good food. Pretty hard to complain about that combo. Anyways, back to the show.
All right, next question. Isn't this episode illegal? It's a dogfight.
Yeah, it is.
Next
you, Michael
question.
Vick.
Did John die afterwards because he got his guts ripped out? If so, doesn't that mean it's a draw? He did get his guts ripped out, and
That's
that
so
might mean
gross.
that he does die. But he still won the fight, so
Yep.
Doesn't
And
really
didn't we have
matter.
a similar thing with Might versus Might? Like,
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is a very good example of like the way death battle works is if a character gets the kill, that's the end of the fight. Like if they die later on, technically they still won first.
Right. Or on the
obviously-
opposite, if you have a character like Kratos, who when he dies will go to the underworld, and you know he's going to crawl his way out. Like he'll be back. But
Yeah, but like still, if
Still
you
counts.
kill Kratos, you win. Like
Yeah.
he might come back.
You just kill him again.
yeah, just have a part 2.
If he does come back, that's for the sequel. Like
Yeah.
for that death battle, he was already dead. That's it's a little tricky because there are obviously some characters where like if they are killed, something happens, and then that has to be taken into effect. So obviously that rule has to be a little flexible for situations where death isn't necessarily the end. But in this case, because it was more of a like, it's not part of John's arsenal that like, or Sabrewulf's arsenal that like, if I pull out the intestines, you know, I die and then I come back to life. It was more so just a narrative thing to build tension for that scene. It's not
Plus,
actually
you wanted
part of
an
the
excuse to
analysis.
have one werewolf choking the other with his intestines.
Yes.
I mean,
That's
Yes.
the
Cool
real
shot.
answer.
yeah, the real answer is Liam. He was just trying to make it as gory and violent as possible,
was
like he
like,
said. And
I
his goal
wanted
was to
to-
make somebody throw up.
Choke
So-
him with the guts. It's gonna be
Oh, speaking of
gross.
throwing up, that Waddle Dee back from Wario versus DDD.
Oh my
that
God,
was the
yeah.
thing that messed me. Oh
The
my
greatest.
god, the little mouth opens. Horror flashbacks. Oh,
That was one that Luis, I believe, just added on his own. That wasn't even
Thank
planned.
God.
He's like,
That
I'm
was
gonna add this
beautiful.
crazy
It's just-
like scene.
Mwah, it was so good.
All right, and then that pretty much wraps up Sabrewulf versus John Talbain questions. There are two more. Why is the next time Red versus Blue? Didn't that already come out? So just sort of reiterating, if you did not see the previous Death Battle cast, Red versus Blue was delayed in order to better align itself with Red versus Blue Zero's premiere, which is coming out later this month. So actually, just a couple days. This November 9th. Holy shit! Red versus Blue Zero airs in like 5 days. Or I guess if you're watching this, like 3 days, since we're not live. So. Fuck, guys, it's coming soon. Red vs. Blue Zero is being directed by Torian Crawford, who you would know, hopefully, from lots of our 3D death battles like Might, Bayonetta versus Dante. Holy shit, so many really, really fantastic
Fuck
episodes that
Doomsday,
we've had.
Yeah.
so we can
and if
expect
you-
flips.
Yes.
We can expect flips
Yes.
because he loves
If
those
you
flips.
have at any point looked at one of our 3D fights directed by Torian and thought, like, dude, that's dope, you owe it to yourself to check out Red vs. Blue Zero
Yep.
when it airs on November 9th. It's going to be super awesome. And then the Red vs. Blue Death Battle airs shortly after that. That fight is also led by Torian, which very excited to share that with you guys. It is not replacing an episode. We are still doing the full 20 episode season for Death Battle this year.
2021.
21.
Yeah.
I guess 21 if you count the boys.
Got to count the boys.
But that was like a bonus episode that wasn't originally planned. It just kind of happened. So it's just pushing, the timeline back a little bit in order to better match up, because we want to support our friends who work on Red vs. Blue Zero. That's really what it comes down to.
Yep. Thanks to you guys, Death Battle gets a ton of views, and our friends are making some really cool stuff, and we'd love people to go check it out and give it a shot. So we delay the episode just to be able to promote Red vs. Blue Zero in hopes to get some more eyes on it, because we think it's super cool and we think you guys will enjoy it.
We're very proud of what they've been working on.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool. And then last but not least, hey, you hinted that there would be a vampire match next year. What will it be? The answer is Edward Cullen versus the Count from Sesame Street. So look forward to that next year.
Yes. Yep.
Someone's going to quote you on that for legit.
They're going to start doing
Edward Cullen
calculations.
versus
There's going to be like an essay written up.
Yeah.
All right, now it's time to talk about what's going on. And what's going on is Brandon is here.
Yeah.
Hi.
There. Hey, Brandon. All right. So, Brandon, you've been working with us for upwards of 5 years now. Done tons of death battle tracks, including the most recent one, Blood Moon for Sabrewulf versus John Talbain, where you really got to dig into your like.
Yeah,
You kind of like come from a metal background for the most part, right?
Yeah. I used
Can
to
you talk a little bit about
before
like
this project. I was in a. Oh yeah, sorry. Let you finish your question. It's probably what I was about to answer.
yeah, like let's talk about your roots a bit, like where you come from and what you started with.
Well, before I was working with Death Battle, I was in like a deathcore band. Ironically, a deathcore band, but we used to like tour in the local like couple states, and so I'm used to doing lots and lots of screaming. I was the vocalist, but I also helped with a lot of the writing at the time. And so, yeah, very, very metal background, very heavy stuff. You guys wouldn't like it on the show.
Now I want to write an episode where that would be like perfectly appropriate for that kind of fight. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's hints of it in Blood Moon. Like, there's some parts where I just full blown went like back to those roots.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the guitar riffs in particular.
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of matchups where like that specific style necessarily might blend with it, but like who knows?
No, every matchup
would work really well.
I think would
every matchup could. Every matchup. Yeah, let's go back to some of the My Little Pony episodes and throw that in there. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I mean, Titans of Magic is pretty heavy. Like Titans of Magic is pretty hard rock song.
I love it. Oh my god. So let's start off, I guess, with sort of the process of what we go through for a death battle music track. So a few years ago at this point, we sort of came to you with sort of this proposal of like, hey, we want to start making music for every episode's battle. So you want to go through sort of like how the steps that you work on. Obviously, we kind of start off with like sort of a conversation where me or whoever the director is like, this is sort of what we're sort of imagining. Here's some reference tracks, you know, that we're sort of thinking about. But what's the next step after that?
Typically, I'll listen. I only tend to listen to like 30 seconds of the reference tracks. Not that I'm like discounting what the directors are saying, but I don't want to get too attached to those ideas because I don't want to full blown plagiarize. I love to tribute the source material, but I don't want to like. I kind of had that problem back when I was working with another versus matchup show where they would want me to be a little too close to the reference material, so I actively avoid that because that would cause the same problem that we're trying to avoid. Like we just get copy struck for me remaking other songs. It's the same problem in a different form. So Absolutely. Yeah, the next step I guess would be definitely to go. I would listen to them for about 30 seconds, and then I listen for like specific things that I think are the most catchy, like the essence of those themes, and I will sketch those out, and then I'll build a song around that. Or sometimes the other way around, I'll build the song and then I'll throw the themes in over top.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if we've ever really even given the direction of like, let's try to copy this song. I think always been
these are inspirations.
We are trying to like capture the essence of this. The trickiest part, I think, or at least from my side of things, is like trying to capture the essence of two characters with different themes and music styles and bringing it all together. Does that sort of throw you off sometimes, or how tricky is that for you?
I think it's there are times where it's super easy. An upcoming episode that we can't talk about, but the one that I turned in like the same day, that one was that one was like, it was perfect. It just, the stars aligned, everything was it was like everything just fell into place. The song popped into my head all at once. But then there are other ones where it's a lot more difficult. I'm like trapped in stuff I'm currently working on. So the other one I'm currently working on right now with Luis and is a lot harder for several reasons. Like I'm doing a different genre than I've ever done, and it's the characters. I mean, I get what they have, the overlap, but it's like really harder to get them to. I don't know if that makes sense. Body language.
Mesh.
Yeah. Meshing the two styles together.
Well, because the series both have such different, or like at least their character themes have such different styles, and so it's hard to not lean one way or the other. And so I just kind of gave in and like leaned one way, just because stylistically it makes more sense to have like a cohesive piece than to have something jumbled that's more of both characters.
Yeah. Looking at some of the, I also have a list of tracks that you worked on for just to remind myself of what you worked on. But like obviously, stand out to me of like tracks that maybe were easy to find like a common place are like Marvelous for the Shazam versus Captain Marvel fight. There was definitely a lot of references to like Avengers and Justice League and stuff in that track.
It's funny that would come up. I was messing with that mix the other day. I was playing with the idea of like polishing up that mix because I thought that was one that it's one of the ones I'm less proud of. I mean, like I get that, sometimes songs are popular that I don't like as much, and sometimes songs that I like a lot are less popular. But yeah, that was one that I think could use a little bit of polish. And so I was just messing with that, just playing with the idea the other day. So it's just interesting that would be the first one that would come up.
One of the ones that I think I really appreciate the mesh of styles would be Way Past Flash, which is Flash versus Archie Sonic, specifically because Archie Sonic doesn't really have a style. Like it's just comic books. Like there's technically Sonic games and stuff to pull from, but like figuring out how to capture the essence of Archie Sonic in particular isn't necessarily a clear-cut idea. Did you have a particular process that you went through for that, or thoughts on that?
The Crush 40 soundtrack for Sonic Adventure 2, like as soon as you said I was on that matchup, I was like, I really want to make some references to that soundtrack because I love that soundtrack. I mean, there's a lot of references in that song. I think that's one of my most reference-packed songs ever. And then, I leaned into some of the Justice League Unlimited theme because that's the most iconic music for like DC animated stuff. But yeah, mostly leaning towards like the Sonic kind of rock Crush 40 soundtrack and just really fast. I want to do something like super upbeat and feel like your heart's going to explode.
So outside of references and looking at other tracks, what's sort of your process for determining that style that you're looking for? Like, especially if that sort of reference material either doesn't really line up with what you want to do or just isn't available.
I wish I had some kind of like super wise or amazing sounding answer for this, but it's usually just like a melody or like a specific drum part or something will just kind of pop into my head. I'll kind of meditate on it. I'll let it stew in the back of my brain while I'm working on other projects. And I guess that's kind of what happens is I'll be working on other projects and like something from another project will stick out to me and I'll go, and like I won't end up using it for the other project, but I'll be like, oh, that synth bass is really cool. I can't use that for this, but that'd be perfect for this death battle. And so then I end up pulling ideas or inspiration that I get while working on other material, and then seeing it, because it'll be like, oh, that's perfect for like Sonic, or I'll be, oh, that's perfect for the werewolves fight. And I thought that the synth bass is what's coming to mind for me right now from Sabrewulf versus Talbain. That synth bass, I was working on another project, and that synth bass was not appropriate for it, but I was like, oh crap, that's really cool.
That's so how it is for so many art forms. Like you find the solutions to your problems in not looking at the problem itself.
Because or like waking up with the idea.
Exactly.
Just wake up. Yeah. It's like in a fog and like I gotta write this down.
Yep. We all been there.
Dude, like I'm one of those guys that has like a notepad like next to my bed, because that happens to me all the time. I'll be like, oh yeah, that close to getting to sleep. I've been sitting in bed for like half hour. I'm like, all right, finally feels like it's going. I'm gonna finally get to sleep. Yep. Oh shit, I got an idea. Yep. And I just start writing real quick, and then I'm like, now I'm not gonna get to bed for like an hour.
Hundreds of notes.
Yeah,
I've got to have hundreds of notes in my phone where I'll have like a melody idea or like a riff idea, and I'll just sing it into my phone, and I'll just I a lot of them don't. I should probably go through them because there's a lot that I just never touch again. I just forget about. But every now and then, I'll have one and I'll come back to it and be like, that is so catchy. And you always get those at the most inopportune times. Back when I was working like an hourly job still, before I went like full time with my music, it was always when I was like busy, like when I was working like maybe at a convenience mart, and like a bunch of people would come in, and then I would have the song idea. And it's just the most unfortunate and opportune times when inspiration always wants to hit you. It's like the muses have a sense of humor.
Yeah. Oh man, getting those ideas in the middle of like a conversation, somebody, you're like, I really want to leave this conversation, write it down, but like,
shut the fuck
I don't want to be rude.
There we go.
Yeah.
Continue.
Speaking of, I gotta go. No.
I got it right now, guys. Oh my god, man. But dude, also, what is it like? So one of the things that I think Death Battle, in particular, it's both a benefit, it's like both a boon and a struggle for Death Battle, is that we are constantly dealing with different genres, different characters, different types of content, and that doesn't just go for writing, the characters and whatnot, but it also goes into the music. So like you've been making tracks with a wide variety of genres for a while now. What is that like for you, especially coming from a specifically metal deathcore origin? Has that been difficult to sort of like jump into some tracks, or does it make it easier for you to sort of learn how to do things with different genres?
So referencing back to the one that I'm doing currently with Luis, that one is proving to be pretty difficult because it's a genre that I just have no experience in at all. But actually, I've been thinking about this for the past couple days, that it's this is like such a good gig for me, because I have this weird ability to write one good song in any genre I choose. So there'll be like a genre, and I can like make one really good song in that genre, and then if I try to make a second one, it'll be terrible.
And we get the good, we get the one.
Yeah. You get the one good song. Like I'll be inventing genres for the show. I'm like blending, who knows what I'm blending from the two things, but it'll be like make a new genre, and I'll be like, oh, that was kind of a cool blend of styles, and I'll try to make another song in that style, and it's just gone. Like I try to write again, I'm like, oh, this is so bad.
There are definitely some matchups where like we bring in like this character comes from a series that's like got a jazzy soundtrack, and this character comes from a series that's like pure like heavy rock or something like that, and figuring out how to mesh things like that.
One of the things that you'll find that I do if you like go across my discography with Death Battle is, if I'm struggling with the series' genres, let's say they have two very different genres that are both stuff that I'm like having a hard time with. What I'll do is I'll add elements of those genres, and then I'll layer them under like a bed of a rock song, so that I have like this glue that kind of holds the elements that I could put together as a cohesive unit, where like I might have struggled to like make a song out of just those two genres because I'm not familiar with either of them individually, not familiar enough with them to make a cohesive song with just those two styles. So I'll use my rock background as like glue.
But that does help in a way, because it sort of creates a consistent sound that like people can watch Death Battle and be like, that's a Brandon Yates song, I think, and then they'll look down but the description and be like, oh yeah, totally was.
Yeah. I mean, it's always amusing to me though when they mix Aaron and I up. Like when Aaron and I get like really close to the same. I should clarify, I guess, that Aaron is Therewulf. That when Therewulf and I, when they mix us up with each other, because I always find that interesting, because it's like I don't think we ever intentionally try to sound like each other, but sometimes they might hear a song and be like, oh, this sounds like Aaron might have done it. This sounds like Brandon might have done it, and it was actually the opposite.
I think you guys do have distinct styles, but like because Death Battle is constantly jumping between different genres, it can sometimes be a little tricky to like jump into an episode and just be like, oh, I recognize that just immediately, because they might have, like Aaron does do some tracks that lean into like a heavier sort of rock, and then you do some sort of tracks that lean into something that Aaron might typically do more often, because that's just the nature of the show.
Aaron's
we work
also
on such
like
a weird show.
Aaron's also a much better guitarist than me, so I compensate in other ways with I mean, I'm just being honest. Like he's a way better guitarist than me. So what I have to like, what I do to keep tracks interesting will be like adding other layers, or like, I mean, he does orchestral and synth and stuff too, but like I tend to make those like the main character instruments more often, where Aaron might, put a guitar solo somewhere, and I always have to have like a guest guitarist to do a guitar solo, or almost always anyway.
I love that you and I do want to.
We should team you guys up for one super track.
We did.
Well, the
we did for Mighty.
Mighty. Yeah, that's right.
It's one of the best tracks ever.
Yeah. I pitched the idea that Aaron and I should just always team up for the finales, because like we both want to do the finale, like we both want to do it, and it's just like so. I just think, I mean, like, I know that, I don't know if this is okay to say, that we're already done with the music for the final finale. Like, I know that that's already done, but
for this,
but like, other than that, like, I think that it'd be really cool for just Aaron and I to always like team up. Maybe even
yeah,
bring
that'd be
Omega
fun.
Sparks back in, just a trio, the death
Dude,
battle
trio,
musician
hell
trio.
yeah.
Oh fuck,
And-
That'd be amazing.
Oh,
Like-
God.
Like, just bring us all on board for the finales. Like, if it's within budget, of course, and like we could all discuss that too.
I haven't had a chance to talk to you about like all the stuff I want to do for our 10th year anniversary season, but like we're gonna do some kick-ass stuff. It's gonna be fun.
Good.
Also, so real quick, Ben,
think
I have to interject because we keep talking about the many different genres and styles that Brandon works in. I pulled up his YouTube channel, and I would like to know, what is buttcheeks.wave?
Oh, maybe you should just check it out. Okay, so what it is I hired a voice actress on Fiverr to just say, like, in a really cute, like, small voice, like I guess they call it a lolly voice, I want to see your butt cheeks. And then I just made an entire, like, well, it's not an entire, it's like a minute long, just a little, it was kind of a shit post. It's just a minute long of like a dubstep that of a dubstep thing with like her just saying I want to see your butt cheeks, like glitched over it, and it's like some anime girl butts.
So
I
great.
thought it'd be amusing.
Go search Brandon Yates on YouTube if you'd like to hear that track.
looking it
I
up
just thought
right
it's so
now.
funny. It's like, oh, let me see what the most recent stuff you've done, so we can talk about maybe
Butt
something to
cheeks out
promote.
loud
And then
with spaces between every letter before the .wav. It's important.
yes, lots of just search Brandon Yates. It's right there. You
I
can't
mean,
miss it.
you can't miss it. It's a thumbnail of a butt.
Yeah, I know what they like. I know what people want. I mean, what can I say? If you guys could make a death battle between two butts, you would, and I know you would.
A butt battle.
Oh my god. Have we
I think
talked
we
about
hit
that?
gold, Ben. I don't think we can top that.
All right, time for the community death battle. Let's do it.
Let's talk about the good stuff right now. We're talking about steaks. Straight to your door by Omaha Steaks. These guys are, and I mean, well, to be honest, it's not just steaks, but I'm a big steak fan, so I'm talking about the steaks, but I also do really enjoy the burgers and stuff like that too. They're absolutely fantastic. It's top-notch meat around the board, and right now you can get some of this Butcher's Best Sellers, which includes 8 perfectly aged steaks, 4 juicy burgers, and I mean, seriously, juicy burgers, they are super, super, super good. And they've even got sides and like desserts and a bunch of stuff. It makes like up 16 entrees according to the thing. And if you type in the promo code DBC in the search bar, you can unlock a limited time offer, and Omaha Steaks will add free shipping and 2 pounds of premium ground beef free to your order. So it's just this, like, and their beef is just, it's not just beef. There's some extra juicy good stuff, right? The ground beef, like, you just make yourself the best pasta sauce you've ever had. Throw it on some of them good spaghettis. Oh, Lord. That's what we're here for, right? So, go to omahasteaks.com and enter the code DBC in the search bar to get the Butcher's Best Sellers at 45% off, plus free shipping and 2 pounds free ground beef. That's 45% off. That's the first time I read that line, and I think I might just go, okay, if I'm going to use my own code, which I've done quite a few times. So, yeah, go do that. It's awesome. That's 4 bacon wrapped filet mignons, 4 top sirloins, and 8 more main entrees plus dessert. That's just a killer deal. So visit omahasteaks.com, type in DBC in the search bar, and stock up. Anyways, back to the show.
All right, so this week's community death battle was Batgirl versus Kim Possible.
Specifically, their asses. No, I'm just kidding. That would be terrible.
Between specifically their butts.
Nope.
Yeah, they're
nope.
underage, I think.
Nope, let's not do that.
Yep, nope, not doing that for
Kim
sure. Nope.
Possible's high school, I think. Nope, we're not doing that. But what we
Oh,
will do-
man.
I got somebody.
This train can't be stopped.
What we will do is, as always with Community Death Battle, we leave it up to you guys to let us know who you think should win and why using hashtag Death Podcast on Twitter. So let's go ahead and bring up the answer for Batgirl, I guess.
A2 squared, double A. Batgirl for the win. While Kim has taken on superpowered enemies and dealt with Ron Stoppable, Batgirl had training from her dad and Batman, took up the role of Batman when he was out, brief, and was able to outsmart Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman, team up with Scooby-Doo.
Who could destroy
Doesn't
the
jam as much info
universe
as
by
possible.
dancing?
Dude, Scooby-Doo, like, I can't wait till we do a Scooby-Doo death battle,
Does she
whenever
then
that
scale
happens.
to Shaggy? Because if she scales to Shaggy, this isn't fair.
There's an actual scene in, I can't remember where they do possibly destroy a universe by dancing. Like that actually happens.
This is the Brinsky Triangle.
Yeah, we looked into this for a community death battle before.
Yeah, our community death battle was Scooby-Doo versus Courage the Cowardly Dog, so we had to like do the deep dive.
It was one of the strangest ones we've done.
I can't wait because Scooby's teamed up. Even when like we became part of like Warner Media, they're like, "You guys want Scooby? Just let us know."
Oh.
Like if you want to do something with Scooby, pitch it to us. Like I still
with that out there.
Yeah,
Scooby-Doo free for all.
Scooby-Doo is like Warner Media's ambassador. They're just like, got a new property. Yeah, Scooby will show up. He'll say some
Scooby
stuff.
Scooby wasn't Supernatural, so like maybe they'll let us just have all the characters murder each other. I think Fred probably takes it, but I don't know. Like Shaggy does have a vulture instinct, so
is that our new community death battle? Who knows? We'll see.
Fred beating the shit out of like Shaggy.
So let's go ahead and bring up the answer for Kim Possible.
This one comes from Yates. The classic matchup: DC OP versus Cartoon Logic. Kim will decimate because she's as talented as she needs to be to win. Barbara, on the other hand, let's just say she's been proven to take permanent damage. But then again, Batarangs. Batgirl has more offensive options. Not the strongest. I mean,
yeah, it doesn't sound very sure. Like,
I think the assumption is
she definitely wins. Or does
crippled
she?
Barbara.
that basically boiled down to Kim Possible has Cartoon Logic.
But I need specific examples. Like,
yeah. But then was like, but then again, Batarangs though. Well, Batarangs though.
Yeah,
so I
right?
guess Batgirl takes it. Right? Like, I don't know.
Batarang diff.
It didn't track very well. I'm not seeing a lot of like crazy shit for Kim.
I love that we're both already in the respect threads. She gets blown up by a golf ball and is okay. Let's see. No,
I
she was
remember
outraged.
seeing something that was like something like a meteor hit her house or something, but I could be totally inventing that in my brain.
While she was in the house?
I don't know. I assume
that's kind of important information.
Yeah,
like
she was in Canada. At the
are we
time,
calculating the strength of the house or her?
She scales to her house.
Batgirl versus Kim Possible's house.
He has a cool battle suit.
The end.
The end.
Nah.
All right.
Sorry, I hate when respect threads or things make assumptions. That's so frustrating. Like, it's like she got like there's like a building fell on her and she emerged from the rubble and was fine. And it's like, no, they dived out of the way.
Yeah.
And so yes, some rubble landed on them after it exploded, but it wasn't that a whole building fell on her and then she got out of it.
Yeah, context is always important.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're both still normal humans. So like if a building falls on them, they die.
Yeah, she has a battle suit that enhances her strength. She just kicked Shigo into a big tower and the tower fell. That's pretty impressive.
That's a little bit more than just regular human.
She's strong.
That's fair.
This one's pretty good. She gets, I don't know what this gigantic death laser ray is, but she gets straight blasted by it. And like, there's a significant sized explosion. And then for some reason, she's just fine.
I'd be willing to bet we could find better stuff for Kim.
If we dug.
Yeah, because it's a cartoon and DC street tier characters are crazy, but not quite that crazy. They're on the whole, they have really great speed feats, but not super amazing like strength or ability feats.
Right. And we actually just looked at Batman recently when we were doing what episode am I thinking of?
Batman versus Black Panther.
No, I think he means, was it that or were we referencing Batman because it was another DC character?
I can't remember exactly what episode I was thinking of, but Batman doesn't have like Batman's crazy, but he doesn't quite have the feats that like people tend to associate with DC characters. Like the Superman, Aquaman, Flash kind of stuff, which is why, ironically, despite Batman being one of the most hyped up characters in DC, I believe he is lost more than he's won in Death Battle history. So
it's just such a that character's just not made for Death Battle, man. Like that Batman is all about like give him a problem and with enough time he will figure it out. But
Detective.
Death Battle is just exactly like the world's greatest detective. But Death Battle is just like bloop, you're both here now, fight to the death.
Yeah.
So it's like
So I think I'm leaning towards Kim for this. I think
too.
the whole the concept that the second answer had of like DC OP overpoweredness versus crazy cartoon logic sort of leans towards the cartoon logic in this regard.
Yeah, but they seem to be. This is a lot more grounded, especially because, like, you guys don't get me started about Darkwing Duck. We had this whole conversation after sudden death last week, like
Darkwing
where we
Duck
talked for like
versus
30
the
minutes
one
about how
above all.
broken Darkwing Duck is, and like it's not that level. Like it's
No.
not even close. Like they
Impostle's
give
much more
her
grounded.
like justifications, right? Like I was saying, like they're like, oh, a building fell her, and it's like no, she dove out of frame and then she comes out of rubble, so it's like. It's more reasonable to assume that like she didn't, the building didn't hit her, it hit the ground, and then the rubble fell on her, right? Like it seemed like all the durability feats I'm going through right now, like same thing. She's like always like diving out of shit, except for this array, which I put in Discord if you want to look at it. She gets fucking lit by that thing.
Oh my
So I
god!
don't-
Oh my god! Whoa!
Oh yeah, it's a point blank blast.
Even Draken can't. Is it implied that
He
she like
looks away.
escaped?
It might be implied that she like, so she's tied
She's-
up, and then the rope is cut. So it might be implied that she like maneuvered her body so that it hit the rope and specifically. But her
Well,
hair is
except
also
here's
like,
the thing.
messed up,
Look
so
what
I don't
she's
know.
wearing. Look what she's wearing in the first scene.
Right.
It looks like she has pants on.
They just blew
And
her
then-
pants off.
In the second scene, her coat's all ragged and she doesn't have pants anymore.
The laser blew her pants off. Okay,
Like
great,
anyway,
cool,
whatever. We have to analyze
Uh,
that. I don't know,
Well,
man.
I'm still
I don't-
voting for Kim. What about you guys?
Yeah. I like Kim more. I'm gonna vote for Kim.
That's a legitimate answer, I guess. Brandon, how are you feeling?
I think I'm probably leaning towards Batgirl because DC has a habit of there being like one. I mean, I know that it's like an outlier situation, but there's always like one thing where she's probably lifted a planet at some point. It's DC.
Yeah. I'm actually,
That's fair.
man, cartoon physics, but like normally I always want to lean cartoon, but I'm thinking Batgirl on this one, honestly. Like I think the Kim Possible cartoon does a really good job of trying to justify some shit. So we'll see.
All right, we have a tie between the four of us, but as always, it's up to you guys answering the poll that we put on Twitter. So let's go ahead and bring that up and see who wins this. Holy shit!
Oh,
Wow.
shook. Wow.
Okay, it's
Way to
I
go,
wasn't
Brandon.
expecting that.
We got
yeah,
this.
I know stuff.
Take that, two people who do way more research than both of us. What now?
All
I was
right.
expecting.
Well, I will accept defeat for now, but we need to come up with a new community death battle. Brandon, do you have any thoughts on a matchup that you think would make a good community death battle?
Yeah, this idea popped into my head a couple days ago. Actually, like as we were talking about, like waking up with ideas earlier in the cast, but I woke up and I was just like had this idea for Jack from Mass Effect versus Lilith from Borderlands. Just two badass psychic babes, duking it out with some psychic powers.
I love it. Also, it's been ages since we've had a Mass Effect character in one of these, and I'm a sucker for Mass Effect, so I'm totally on board.
Yeah, I'm so stoked.
You know
there's
who
like
I'm
a
voting
remaster
for.
coming. Yeah, there's like a remaster coming, and I'm so stoked for that. At least there's rumors, but it's one of those where it's like rumors.
Yeah, I feel it coming.
It better be coming. It better be there. All right, so
That sounds fun.
next up is Jack from Mass Effect versus Lilith from Borderlands, which actually works out great because Borderlands recently came out, so people are fresh with information from that. So as always with Community Death Battle, let us know who you think should win and why using hashtag DeathBattleCast on Twitter. We will have a poll up later on in the week, probably when you're watching this, since we aren't airing this live. That will be on the @DeathBattle Twitter. And you can also leave your answer in a response to that poll, and we can use that as well.
And we love examples.
Yes.
Love examples to back up your argument. That's our favorite.
Examples, discussions, or puns.
We also love puns. You know that.
Puns can also win
The
an
occasional
argument.
calc
Yeah,
is
yeah.
appreciated.
Speaking of examples, Brian, can you pull up this GIF that I just found? Watch this shit.
Oh,
I just blam. would shatter anyone's legs. Like, she nails that steel beam and just flips like it's no problem.
See, I think she should have won then. All right. More support for the loser, I
God.
guess.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, jeez. That's
I
rough.
broke my foot in college, and I bet that's what it felt like.
That's
I
what
know what it felt like.
we should come up with a fun new segment. It's just like respect thread rundown, where we just like grab some respect threads between two characters,
some of the
and
best.
then just like debate it super fast and try
What
to
does this
find.
mean?
Yeah,
Well, like that is kind of a look behind the curtain for Death Battle. Like, we find some ridiculous feat and we go, well, what does
shit.
it mean?
Yeah.
yeah.
How
I
many
love it, I
tons
love
of TNT is it?
How much TNT does this calculate to?
And how does that translate into battleships? Okay, we need to know
Oh my
various
God.
other or SAR bombs.
Yes. How does it compare to the Tsar bomb? That's the most powerful
50
bomb ever made. I
megatons.
hope you guys know what that is, because
I've
it's been in
memorized
maybe
that.
like every other death battle ever made. All right.
Ben, do you remember?
says
Do you
we're
have it
not
memorized? Do you have the
It's 50
Oh,
yield
megatons.
memorized?
For the Tsar bomb,
Yeah.
It's
50
it's
megatons. But it was built to be a 100 megaton bomb, but they had to limit it because they were worried about puncturing the atmosphere of the Earth. You know, just casual problems. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of Death Battle Cast. Thank you, Brandon, for joining us for this
Yeah.
episode.
Oh,
It's
thanks for
awesome
having
to
me.
have you. Hopefully we can have you on another episode in the future. I think this is a really good episode. So let us know who you think would win. Again, that is Jack versus Lilith, and the Red versus Blue death battle is coming up soon, as well as Red versus Blue 0. So be sure to check that out, as well as check out Brandon Yates's YouTube channel. Again, that's just Brandon Yates.
Yeah, subscribing's free.
Pretty easy.
Come on, it's free.
No, he's got some awesome music there. If you have liked any of his tracks that he has created for Death Battle, there's a ton of stuff on his channel. Like you might think like, oh, he probably makes a track, every couple months or whatever. No. Like, give it a look.
Hundreds. It's hundreds of songs on
Like,
my
what
channel
are you
at this
doing,
point.
man? There's so much. How do you do it? It's
Oh
really
yeah, we
cool.
never got over to my tricks to doing them quickly.
Oh, right.
Right.
So what I'll do
what's
is
your
for different
trick?
genres, I will create templates, and then I will build around those templates. So that, let's say there's a track that's I know is going to require drums, bass, guitar, and let's say maybe strings. And so when I load into the track, all of those are already set up for me with like a tempo that's probably close to what I'm going to be doing, and then I just adjust the tempo. I haven't there's nothing pre-written. Like I'll still write it all in one go, but just like having the session set up for me saves me probably 20 minutes. And it's really just a lot of like shortcuts that I've learned over time like that. Not shortcuts taking like cutting corners, but shortcuts like doing the work beforehand so that part of the job is already done when I get there. Like when I get to making the song is probably the biggest time saver. That, and just also working with stuff that already sounds good instead of trying to make a mediocre sound into something polished, which is what I used to do a lot. And so like in my older tracks, you can hear that more nowadays. I've sped up by having sounds that just already sound super cinematic or super epic or super, aggressive just right out of the box, so that I don't have to spend hours tweaking them. I can just have like a song that's already close to done when I'm done writing it. And then I just, put the polish on it with some mixing and mastering, and it's good to go. It doesn't take like a bunch of hair pulling trying to get it mixed good.
So just like Batman or when Batgirl fights Kim Possible, prep time is everything.
Yeah.
All right, that's the Death Battle Cast for today. Thank you for watching. As always, be kind to others, be kind to yourself, be awesome, and we'll see you next week.
I'm blasting this on butt cheeks right now.
Do it.